Let's look into features that greatly enhances your server and application monitor. First, AppStack. AppStack is a key tool in SAM. So basically, AppStack means application stack, an interactive visual map displaying a detailed view of your environment, so you can identify the root cause of performance and availability issues. You can use AppStack to assess the overall health of your environment and to troubleshoot specific and related problems. An AppStack view is also available on the application layer to only show the relationships of that application. This particular AppStack view is a mini AppStack. Another feature is an Orion agent. An agent is a software used to provide a communication channel between the Orion server and Windows or Linux or Unix system or AIX systems. Many Orion Platform products, including SAM, install plugins on agents to collect data the agents that sends back to the Orion Platform. An agent is a software used to provide a communication channel between the Orion server and Windows. In the Orion Platform, agents are used as an alternative polling method to WMI or SNMP to provide information about your key devices and applications. Your SAM uses Orion agents to gather information for component monitors from the target servers across your environment. You can access the agents deployed within your network environment by going to the Manage Agents section. The Manage Agents sections allows you to view all the deployed agents within your network environment. If you would like to deploy a new agent, you can simply click on Download Agent Software and it will direct you to a wizard where you can deploy an agent to a Windows machine or a Unix or Linux machine. Generally, agents provide richer data streams while adding load to an application. While agentless polling pulls limited data based on either WMI or API and security access permissions, but with agent, it can isolate the load to an extent resource and doesn't impact application as much. Agentless monitoring has its own benefits. No additional software to deploy, manage, or maintain. Regarding agent versus agentless monitoring for templates, application monitors, and component monitors, you need to pick the best option to monitor those applications within your network environment. Orion Maps. Orion Maps are a troubleshooting feature displaying a map of physical and logical relationship between entities monitored by the Orion Platform products that you have installed. Orion Maps help you quickly isolate and identify critical health and performance issues. An example of application mapping using the Orion Maps: simply head over to the left navigation pane for any application that you're currently monitoring and click on Map. The items displayed on this Orion map are automatically mapped out and shows the relationship between physical and logical components within the map. You can center the map. You can open the map in an editor and change the items that you see. Another example of Orion Maps for App Insight for Active Directory. When we open the Orion Maps for this particular application monitor, we get to see the relationship of the logical and the physical entities for the Active Directory App Insight application monitor. Again, you can open this in a map editor if you would like to make any changes with the Orion maps that you see. You can either change the icons that you see or add entities onto the Orion maps that you're trying to edit. Application dependency mapping. With application dependency mapping, this provides a holistic view of application and server connections, expanding monitoring by detecting how applications and nodes interact with each other. SAM's application dependencies feature provides a holistic view of application and server connections. You can use data gathered during application dependency polling to Understand which application processes and nodes connect with each other. Ensure the most important data per specific application is monitored. Identify unmonitored applications and processing or processes requiring attention. Leverage latency and packet loss metrics to determine if an issue is caused by an application or the network. This is the widget for application dependency mapping. This contextual visibility of relationship between applications and physical or virtual servers also reduces troubleshooting time. For example, instead of searching through many application nodes and component monitors to determine why an application is slow, you can navigate to the application connection widget and analyze application dependencies to pinpoint the source of the issue. With the application dependency feature, you can see where and how servers communicate with each other without contacting various teams to get information. You can use the feature to identify established connections and provide perspectives into the connections themselves. To enable application dependency mapping on your server and application monitor, go to the application connection settings. This is where you get to enable application dependency settings and connection quality settings. You can also set threshold settings for the connection quality settings and provide critical or warning states for connection packet loss and connection latency. And then you can click on Save Changes. Monitor server hardware health. You can get immediate insight into hardware issues in your SAM environment by tracking key parameters for servers such as fan status, power supply, and temperature. You can use SAM to monitor the hardware health of Dell, HP, HPE ProLiant, IBM, Cisco, UCS, and Nutanix hardware components, such as the temperature, the fan speed, power supply, CPU, memory, disk space, and more. SAM also provides instant visibility of the status, such as up, critical, or warning. It also allows you to set baseline values and alerts. It can alert you if levels are far below the set base thresholds for those hardware sensors. To improve polling performance, consider how often you need to pull hardware statistics and how long you need to archive those statistics. To enable or disable those managed hardware sensors, go to the Node and Group Management section of your Orion Web Console and click on Manage Hardware Sensors. A list of hardware sensors are available for you to disable or enable or set thresholds. Click on Edit Threshold and you can use the Orion defaults, force it to go up, or set custom thresholds. You need to provide a numeric value for the custom thresholds that you're going to set against this hardware sensor. Click on Submit. If you need to enable the sensors on a node level, go to the Manage Node section. Pick any node that you would like to enable the hardware sensor against with, and click on the List Resources section. Alternatively, you could go to the Node Details page, and under the Management page of those individual nodes, you can click on List Resources. To enable hardware sensors on a node level, click on Settings and go to Manage Nodes. Pick any node that you would like to enable a hardware sensor, and then click on List Resources. Alternatively, you could go to the Node Details page of this particular node, and under the Management section, you can click on List Resources. The List Resources section now allows you to uncheck or check the box right beside hardware health sensors. If you put a check mark, this enables hardware health sensors for that particular server. If you uncheck the box, the hardware health sensors would be disabled. Please take note of the hardware health monitoring requirements for the hardware health sensors on each server. What's important to take note is that you need to download and install the third-party software because SAM uses the standard protocols such as SNMP and WMI to monitor hardware health data. Please read out the documentation available with the servers that you would like to enable hardware sensors, namely the Dell servers, your HPE Blade system, HPE ProLiant, IBM servers. Cloud monitoring with SAM. To support hybrid environments, the Orion platform can retrieve data from the Amazon Web Service or your Microsoft Azure Cloud Service platforms to track availability, performance, applications, and more for instances and VMs. It is also possible to deploy SAM through the Azure Marketplace. Cloud service platforms provide an on demand computing resource to third party organizations over the internet. You won't have to maintain your own equipment in order for you to house servers that houses applications. As your organizations migrate systems to the cloud to distribute workloads and deliver applications and expand resources for growing databases infrastructure, maintaining infrastructures can become difficult to map in sprawling environments, and it might lead to lost resources or hidden instances. To support hybrid environments, the Orion platform can retrieve data from the Amazon Web Service and Microsoft Azure Cloud Service platform to track availability, performance, applications, and more for instances and VMs. Examples of data gathered include status, storage, capacity, memory usage, and IP addresses. To access cloud monitoring on your Orion environment, simply click on Home and then click on Cloud. To support hybrid environments, the Orion platform can retrieve data from these cloud services APIs, such as the Amazon CloudWatch API and Azure REST API, capture basic metric data for instances of your virtual machines, your volumes, so that you can allocate resources as needed, such as partial CPU processing and disk space across multiple instances or your VMs. These resources can change through the direct interaction and automation. For example, when the Amazon EC2 web service reports data on the Orion platform, it calculates the percentage assigned and resources shared between instances. You can also use SAM's asset inventory dashboard maintains a current and detailed inventory of a node hardware and software, including both physical and virtual assets. As you add more hardware and software and applications to your environment, your assets increase along with the need to adjust the existing setup to expand and scale your infrastructure. To keep up, you must proactively monitor hardware and application health while at the same time maintaining an up to date inventory of your IT assets. Now, to handle these demands, you can use SAM's Asset Inventory Dashboard to maintain a current and detailed inventory of a node's hardware and software, including both physical and virtual assets. The information can also benefit those interested in tracking asset depreciation, gathering information for insurance purposes, or managing and maintaining your infrastructure. Additional benefits of asset inventory dashboards include gaining visibility into the current hardware and software on a node, tracking warranty information for critical hardware components, being notified about important software, operating system, and firmware updates, and monitoring overall hardware life cycles and maintenance timelines. It also helps you determine when an operating system updates needs to be applied on the servers that you're trying to monitor. Container monitoring. You can monitor container services. SAM supports monitoring for containers deployed to Linux nodes in the Docker Swarm, Kubernetes, and Apache Mesos environments. Containers are lightweight executable packages of software with everything needed to run an application. It includes the code, the system tools, system libraries, and settings. Instead of shipping a full operating system and software, application containers include an application's code, configurations, and dependencies into a single package, resulting in enhanced environmental consistency, operational efficiency, and version control. Like virtual machines, containers isolate applications and their dependencies into self contained units. They are capable of running without interfering with each other. Unlike VMs that each have to have their own virtual operating system and hardware, containers share the host kernel system with other containers to save space, thereby increasing efficiency and improve developer productivity. The Orion platform supports monitoring for container deployed on Linux nodes in Docker Swarm, Kubernetes, and Apache Mesos. After adding container services in the Orion Web Console, you can deploy or display details about your container infrastructure, including container host and deployments. Various widgets provide container status and performance metrics such as CPU usage, memory. You can display the container service metrics in different places in the Orion Web Console, including the app stack environment for this particular container, a performance analysis dashboard for this container, the node details and the node details page for this particular container. And last but not the least, you could also include this as part of an Orion map entity. The container details includes a widget that provides the status and state for a container, along with container metrics such as the uptime, the IP address, the image of the details, and environment variables. It also includes a link to the performance analysis dashboard PerfStack. The container performance is a widget that displays container load and network load metrics from a PerfStack dashboard, including CPU, memory, bits per second rates. You can see all the details necessary on a PerfStack dashboard. Also, for the container, it includes a mini app stack that displays the relationship of the container among the rest of the elements on an app stack view. Monitor with App Insight for applications. You can monitor App Insight for Active Directory, Exchange, IIS, and SQL. SolarWinds SAM includes several specially designed out of the box templates to monitor virtually every aspect of key business tools, such as your Microsoft Active Directory, to get relevant performance information from the server level. They also enable you to drill down into the data store layer for performance data. Collectively, they are called App Insight templates. These templates offer a level of detail and expert knowledge far beyond what standard templates provide. You can assign App Insight templates to nodes in many ways, including automatically with the Orion Platform's discovery process. Same as standard SAM templates, you can convert to application monitors after being assigned to nodes. App Insight templates become App Insight applications that monitor nodes, and the following App Insight applications are available to monitor. These monitor business critical functions in your SAM environment for Active Directory, Exchange, IIS, and SQL. Take note that the following details about your App Insight templates and application. WMI is the preferred polling method because some of the node data, such as disk I/O, is only available via WMI monitoring. All App Insight templates support the Orion agent for Windows. You cannot add component monitors to App Insight templates or application monitors. Some component monitors have default settings you cannot modify due to dependencies. Some component monitors cannot be disabled, and you cannot import or export App Insight templates into the Orion Web Console. For this particular example, let's look at an App Insight for Active Directory on the Orion demo, and let's review their features. The App Insight for Active Directory widget displays details about trust relationship on the Active Directory application summary page, so you can visualize domain to domain communications. You can determine which domains can access another domain's resources. Some key aspects of monitoring Active Directory involve keeping a close watch on the application and service availability and ensuring various performance metrics are checked against acceptable thresholds. App Insight for Active Directory monitors physical and virtual Active Directory environments to identify issues about domain controllers, replication, and more. You can use it to track many key aspects of Active Directory by getting relevant performance data from the server level. You can also drill down into the data store layer for performance data. You can review the trust summary, the file replication service, the directory services, and services outages on the Active Directory for Microsoft Active Directory using App Insight templates. Dependencies can also be shown, and you could troubleshoot Active Directory dependencies within widgets, showing in-depth details about issues that impacts its performance. App Insight for IIS. App Insight for IIS application details. It includes different widgets displaying details for sites, application pools, and more. You can click on the hyperlinks in each widget to learn more about the data that is displayed on the App Insight for IIS. For example, if you click on a website link into the Sites widget to open up the IIS site details to view for that website. To return to the App Insight for IIS details view, click on the back button in your browser, since your Orion Web Console works on IIS as well. From the App Insight for IIS details view, you can click on a performance counter in any of the widget to open its IIS statistics details view for that particular counter. For example, let's go to ASP.NET. You can click the Help button in each widget to learn more about what it is displaying right now. This is a perfect opportunity for you to learn more about the widgets displayed on any App Insight templates made available by Server and Application Monitor. App Insight for SQL. You can identify performance issues with regards to the database that you're trying to monitor, namely the Microsoft SQL database. This feature provides consolidated resource views into over 100 performance metrics across SQL servers. These metrics include read and write latency, index fragmentation. It also displays expensive queries based on CPU time, SQL agent, job statuses, and logs. It also displays capacity, resource consumption for CPU and memory, and drive space as well. This is all done through one web page. With App Insight for Microsoft SQL, you can monitor resource consumption. You can respond to alerts and monitor expensive queries without digging through the multiple pages and views. You can also investigate issues and performance trends without hunting through numerous views into the SQL servers in your environment. App Insight for SQL provides a level of detail and expert knowledge far beyond what SQL template can provide, therefore allowing you to monitor virtually every aspect of your SQL instance and database. The feature pulls and reports metrics without use of agents, directly accessing the SQL server using configured access permissions and credentials using SNMP and WMI. To view consolidated or specific data for the selected SQL server, the summary of data, including an app stack view for troubleshooting alerts, is displayed on the details view for App Insight for SQL. Queries to filter expensive queries is displayed as well on this particular page. Transactions for um, or WPM transaction monitors can also be displayed if the module is installed. And last but not the least, the database performance for DPA IM data if DPA has been integrated with the Orion Web Console. To review database data in App Insight for SQL, you need to locate and select a database and all the database widget. The database details view lists all databases on the node, alerts, app stack, and more. App Insight for Exchange. App Insight for Exchange is designed exclusively for the Microsoft Exchange mailbox. App Insight for Exchange provides visibility into storage issues, mail queues, mailbox database status, and growth, events, and critical processes and services. With App Insight for Exchange, you can get a single view of all relevant current and historical Exchange performance metrics. You can add App Insight for Exchange automatically through Discovery and add to your nodes manually via the Node Details page. After it's applied to a node, App Insight for Exchange is considered an application and reports data to SAM through a set of component monitors. The App Insight for Exchange Details views provides a customizable view of widgets for monitoring your Exchange servers and services. Widgets on the view offer access to more Exchange details and pages, including performance counter, database, and mailbox details. Monitor metrics via external APIs. You could monitor external APIs using time series data only. They are assigned to a node. You can use different authentications, status contributor for nodes. They can be integrated into SolarWinds Perf Stack and Orion Maps. And API pollers consume a SAM node license. You can monitor external representation state transfer or REST APIs to gather metrics for nodes and applications in your environment, providing you an easier way to collect data from a modern application stack. With the API Polar feature, you can define your REST API endpoints. You can pick the values you want to monitor, provide credentials, and let SAM begin monitoring without the need for custom scripts. Here are a few scenarios in which you could use an API Polar. When extracting data from non-traditional WMI or SNMP-based applications such as SaaS or Software as a Service app or public cloud services. If a SAM application monitor template doesn't include a metric you need to add, then you can use an API Polar to monitor that particular value. You can send API calls to update a data in a remote API, such as a device configuration. You can also send API calls to monitor the HTTP response status codes. You can gather additional metrics for nodes, which can be useful for troubleshooting downloads. When SAM receives a response from the API, it parses the JSON to glean relevant data assigned to the monitored node. You can then display status and metrics in several places, including the node details page. The API Polar widget displays the latest metrics being monitored for the node with their statuses, as well as the name of the API Polar monitoring the metric. You can also use PerfStack to navigate directly to the PerfStack from the API Polar widget on the node details page to see the historic API metric data. You can also use Orion Maps to display the API Polar. Click a node with an assigned API Polar to display monitored metrics. Please take note of the following details about monitoring API Polars. SAM licensing governs how many metrics you can monitor. You can only send one request at a time. Currently, there are several authentication methods that are supported by API pollers. Credentials sent via HTTP aren't encrypted, they are sent to remote APIs in plain text. Only numeric metrics are currently supported. API polling occurs via the main polling engine or an additional polling engine. No agents are involved. Responses are returned in JavaScript object notation or JSON format. XML is not a currently supported feature. Allow enough time for responses. The larger the dataset, the longer the response time. Here is a table of API polar licensing between a component-based license tier and a node-based license tier. Let's look at an example on how we can deploy an API polar. Under the Management section on the Node Details page, click on API Polar Management and click on Create. Click on Configure, provide the API polar name and a description. Choose the authentication method available, either basic authentication or no authorization, basic authentication, OAuth 2.0, bearer token, or API key. For this particular example, let's use basic authentication. Click on Choose Credential and click on New Credential. If a credential hasn't been set to an API polar, it might not be part of your credential library. In this particular manner, you can create a credential in order for you to be authenticated properly with the API polar. Click on Save. Disable SSL certificate verification, and then click on Save. Provide the necessary details as per the API polar you are creating. Provide the URL, and provide the method. Currently, there are two methods made available, a GET method and a POST method. The GET method allows you to retrieve data from the target node, while the POST method allows you to write data on the target node. In order for you to use POST, you need to have node management rights to write changes against the node. Provide the name and the value, and then click on the plus sign. Provide the account email and the app key. Click on Send Request. If the API polar is successful, it will return a response status code of 200. Now you can assign values or metrics that you would like to monitor out of that API polar. Click on the monitor icon. And you can now start inputting the thresholds that would reflect as warning or critical for the API polar. By providing thresholds, you can be alerted if the API polar is experiencing a latency of greater than 2500 milliseconds, or critical if it is experiencing greater than 5000 milliseconds. Click on Save. The stored values are displayed on the upper right portion of the screen. You can still edit the stored values available if you click on the pencil icon. For the status and last response time, just click on the pencil icon to change the values that needs to be monitored. You have successfully created your API polar. This is the end of our training session for getting started with Server and Application Monitor. We would like to end our session by mentioning our renewal program benefits, frequent and significant product releases. We don't charge for any of our major release, value-added releases our customers want, live training with SolarWinds Academy, powerful live training in interactive virtual classrooms, no additional charge for customers on active maintenance, world-class technical support, available 24/7, 365 days a year, award-winning customer service, and additional customer-only benefits that include exclusive product components that extend functionality, ability to shape product roadmaps in beta and release candidate programs, and last but not the least, special events with product managers, engineers, and SolarWinds head geeks. Thank you for watching this video for getting started with Server and Application Monitor, and have a good day.
To access the rest of this training series, log into your Customer Portal account at customerportal.solarwinds.com.